Hello and welcome to ACN's virtual Sunday lunch. I'm Lorraine McMahon and I'm Head of Operations in Scotland for Aid to the Church in Need.
And I'm Caroline Hull. I'm the Community Outreach Manager for ACN UK. So welcome to our lunch today, but before we get started, we wanted to take just a minute to check in. To let you know that we miss you. It's been a terrible year for everybody, a long year, and we know that many of you have been ill. You might be lonely or shielding. You may be worried about your family and friends, and you may have lost people you love. We know that people have financial concerns as well. So what we want you to know is that we are thinking of you, all of us, the staff and the board of ACN, every day. We think about you and we pray for you. So please know that you're not alone and that we're all part of one big ACN family. We'd also like to thank you so much for your support during 2020. It was a long year, and Lorraine and I in particular are we're people, so we're usually out and about. We visit parishes and schools and clergy. We talk to benefactors. We give talks to groups. And this year has been a strange one for us. So we're so excited to have a couple of hours this afternoon to touch base with you, to check in. And we're also so pleased for those of you who have let us know this year how you've been. It's wonderful when we can chat to you over the phone, or have you had some letters and notes as well from people?
Yes.
Just to say we're okay. So thank you for doing that too. It means a lot to us. And don't forget, as you know, that just because COVID doesn't make religious persecution or discrimination or poverty or isolation, it doesn't make it go away. It just makes it worse. So your support this year for all of our brothers and sisters around the world will mean everything to them, and it means everything to us as well. So thank you so very much. Today is a different kind of event for us. We're coming together as a family to try to help some people in our wider family, to help some Christians in Lebanon who really, really need us just now. So we're going to spend some time together. We're going to learn about a project in Lebanon, and we're going to share a meal. We're sharing a meal, and the people in Lebanon are also virtually sharing one with us as well. If you're on social media and you would like to let people know that you're here and maybe share a picture of what you're having, please use the hashtag ACN Sunday Lunch. And Catherine, our wonderful events manager, is checking messages that come through on social media and through YouTube. So please don't hesitate to let us know that you're out there, and just check in, and we're doing some shout outs later. So if you let us know you're there, we'll do a shout out for you. We are going to be focusing today on a very specific project, but we thought we'd just fill you in a little bit on some background on Lebanon. The project is called the St. John the Merciful Table, and it's in Sahle in Lebanon. But we've compiled, it's very difficult in Lebanon at the moment, and Lorraine and I have compiled some, we're calling them the 5 not so fun facts about Lebanon. So fact number 1. Lebanon used to be the only country in the Middle East that had a Christian majority. In 1932, which was the last official census taken in Lebanon, Christians made up about 60% of Lebanon's population. And although Lebanon still has, percentage-wise, the highest, biggest Christian population of any country in the region, Christians now represent no more than 35% of the population.
So between 2010 and 2015, Lebanon's population grew from around 5 million to 6.5 million. That increase was mostly due to the influx of Syrian refugees. And now today, if you walk down the street in Lebanon, at least 1 in either 4 or 5 people will be a refugee.
And just to add to that, we were saying on Wednesday I spoke to a priest in Lebanon and also a sister in Lebanon, and both of them said that there are parts of Lebanon where it's really 1 in every 2 people. The concentration is so high, so you can imagine what that does to the infrastructure of the country. Fun, not so fun fact number 3. In the last 18 months, the Lebanese lira has lost over 90% of its value. So the exchange rate has dropped from about 1,500 Lebanese lira to the US dollar, which it had held steady since the late 1990s. But as of Wednesday, it was 15,000 Lebanese lira to the US dollar. Now, Lebanese imports over 50% of its food, and that needs to be done in dollars. And that means, unbelievably and sadly, 60% of the Lebanese population is now living below the poverty line.
The explosion in the port area of Beirut on the 4th of August 2020 was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded. It was 3.5 on the Richter scale and could be felt as far away as Cyprus, 150 miles away. But on that day, 220 people lost their lives. 6,500 people were injured, and 300,000 people were displaced from their homes.
And finally, Lebanon's Christian population is decreasing rapidly. Between the explosion last August and January of this year, nearly 400,000 requests for immigration from Lebanese nationals were lodged in embassies in Europe and in North America, and the majority of these came from Christians. So, Lorraine, are you set to tell everybody a little bit more about the project?
Absolutely. This project of St John the Merciful Table holds a real part in my heart. I've sought an action and I've visited there. It's a restaurant and it's based in Zaghli, and it was the brainchild of Archbishop Darwish, and it feeds refugees from Syria and vulnerable Lebanese people. It serves one hot meal every day, every single day of the year, to each person. There are between 1,500 and 1,700 people, needy people, who are served one meal every day. During the COVID-19 pandemic, as you know, it affected all of us. But this restaurant has remained in full functioning mode by way of pick-up method or by delivery service. The project and the teams working there, and they're such wonderful people, and they've made sure that no one of these beneficiaries that go to St John the Merciful Table have gone to bed hungry during this time. And the great news is, you can be part of this. Archbishop Darwish is now going to expand on some of that information I've given you about the St John the Merciful Table. So we'll just go over to his video now.
Zaghli is situated between Beirut and Damascus. We say that Zaghli is the capital of Catholics in the Middle East. Many Syrian families come to seek refuge in our archdiocese without nothing, with their pyjama. We thought we can start a restaurant and we call it St. John the Merciful Table. And we start to give those Syrian refugees hot meal every day because the economic crisis in Lebanon many Lebanese in need. We had in Zahli before big number of middle class. Now there is no middle class. Many of them, they support before the table of St. John the Merciful. Now they come to ask help, if you can give them daily meal. Myself, sometime I'm crying. I see the misery of the people. And I say to my colleagues who work voluntarily at St. John the Table, have faith, the future in the hands of God. If you don't have money, I am ready to beg, to seek some money to help the poor people. Every day we give of 1,200 packages. That's mean more than 5,000 people every day. I would like to thank ACN, Church in Need, for helping us during those years. And the beautiful works that we do is the partnership between you and the needy people and the poor people. They know now they have brothers and sisters who look after them. That's why they have a hope. We are international community, but we are one in Jesus Christ.
Ελέησον ημάς ο Θεός κατά το
I am sending you this video from Lebanon with a warm and grateful heart to thank you for your participating in this event and for standing by our side through the ACN during the difficult time we are passing through. For years now, you and all the donors of aid to the Church in Need have stood by the needy people of my country through war, hunger, economic crisis, the recent explosion of Beirut, COVID-19, and more and more. You have always been there for your fellow Christians. You have always assisting us, assisting the church that all the people are not abounded.
I love that video, don't you?
Yeah.
It always just gets me right here. I think it's just such an excellent example of a project where everybody's working together to help the community work. And when we were looking for a project for today's event, we just thought, fantastic, it's just perfect. We mentioned a little bit about Lebanon in general before, but just before we move on, just let me tell you a little tiny bit about the situation for Syrian refugees in Lebanon. It's 10 years ago this month, a decade ago this month, that the conflict began in Syria. And we know that it's resulted in millions and millions of people who have fled their homes and either are now internally displaced inside of Syria or who needed to flee the country. They mostly went to surrounding countries, but some of them have gone further afield to Europe and into North America. A lot of the Christians who were fleeing headed to Lebanon because of the large Christian population. We don't know exactly how many refugees are there from Syria. We know there's a minimum of 1 million, but already in 2015, the Lebanese government asked the UN to stop formally registering refugees. So who knows? Somewhere between 1 million and 1.5 million Syrian refugees are in Lebanon, and they join the fairly large number of Palestinian refugees, and there are some Iraqi refugees and others there. So it's a very large community. I mentioned before that 60% of Lebanon's population is living below the poverty line now, but it's estimated that within the refugee community, it's much more like 90%. So it's terrible. And you can imagine now that the situation worsens in Lebanon in general, that the potential for conflicts between the refugee tension will rise between the refugee community plus the native community there. And I think another beautiful thing about the St. John the Merciful table is, as Archbishop Darwish said, the people who were supporting it are now using it. So they're pulling together to keep, the refugees and also the native Lebanese community to support each other through this really difficult time. So what are we doing today? Today's event it's as if Lorraine and I have invited you all over for Sunday lunch, but there won't be very much washing up to do. That's the plus. So we hope that you've all have your lunch ready, and the afternoon will essentially work around some patches where you will eat your starters and then your main course, puddings at the end. And we've had wonderful people put together various videos to entertain you while you're eating, and then Lorraine and I will sort of pop in and out as your hosts to provide you with some information, do some interviews. So we really hope that you have a wonderful time and that we'll all enjoy being together for the next couple of hours. So I'm going to hand you over to Lorraine, who's going to fill you in a bit on the highlights.
So we have got lots of information and entertainment for you today, and we hope that you'll stay with us for the whole programme. If you are going to jump in and out, then we have a time between 1:45 and 2:15 in which you cannot miss. That is a do not miss moment. If at the present moment you would like to donate, you can do that through our website on www.acnuk.org/donate. Or if you would like to call, you can call England and Wales on 01524 62023 or 01524 388 739. If you're in Scotland, please call 01698 337 471 or 01698 337 472. You can also donate by cheque, and again, if you're in Scotland, send that cheque into the Motherwell office, or if you're in England and Wales, send it into our Sutton office. What I will say is, could you please put a note on there to say that it is for the ACN virtual lunch, and if you can gift aid and you're a new benefactor, please do let us know.
And don't forget to say hello on your note. Let us know how you're doing.
So we will tell you more about how you can help after you've had your starters. But at the present moment, we would like to go to Father Dominic Robinson, who is ACN's pastoral chaplain for ACN UK. And Father Dominic is going to carry out a reflection on St. John the Merciful table. We will then go on to have Grace with Archbishop Darwish in Zagley. You'll have 20 minutes to eat your starters. Exactly. Don't be late now. And when you're eating, we will play for you a Lebanese cooking demonstration, which has especially been created for you today by one of our very good friends, Raymond Bitter, and his family. So thank you, Raymond and the Bitter family, and we'll see you all in about 25 minutes.
Thank you so much for your support for St. John the Merciful table in Zagley, Lebanon. Many of you will know that Zagley is in the Bekaa Valley region of Lebanon, very close to the Syrian border. And it's where Lebanon is hosting a huge number of refugees fleeing from the conflict in Syria, many of whom are fleeing from persecution on account of their faith, many of whom are Christian. Aid to the Church in Need is supporting this wonderful project, which feeds 1,000 people with hot meals every day. So thank you so much for your support. It's really so much appreciated. Now you might be wondering, as I was, why this project is named after St. John the Merciful. Who was he? Well, he was an incredible saint, the Patriarch of Alexandria in the 6th century. But we have to think of his early life to get a full picture of who he was. He was married, he had several children, and in his native Cyprus, there was a disease which was ravaging the country, and his wife and his children all died. And St. John the Merciful decided that he would follow another vocation to be a monk, and he was found to be a man of great prayer, of great hospitality, of great charity, and of great faith. He was elected Patriarch of Alexandria, and in that city, which in ancient times was full of so much wealth and learning, and yet also full of so much poverty, St. John the Merciful would twice a week sit in the portico of the cathedral. He would welcome the poor, and he would use the church's funds to give the poor what they needed. Every day he would visit the sick also in hospital. So he is a wonderful patron for this project. And he's a wonderful patron for us to celebrate today also at this virtual Sunday lunch for Aid to the Church in Need. So thank you once again so much for your support. And asking the intercession of St. John the Merciful, we're now going to pray grace. And so I invite the Melkite Archbishop of Zahle, Archbishop Darwish, to do that for us. Bon appetit, everyone.
Blessed is our God at all times, now and always and forever and ever. Amen.
The eyes of all look hopefully to you, O Lord, and you give them food in due season. You open your merciful hand and fill every living with a blessing. Glory be to the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and always, and forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Christ our God, bless the food and drink of your servant, for you are holy at all times, now and always and forever and ever. Amen. Bon appetit.
Hello, my name is Raymond. This is my wife Noura. This is Zahi. This is Jad, and this is Zaina. We all come from Lebanon origin. I've been here for almost 30 years. We are going to introduce our dishes for today. It's all for Lenten dishes. It's 5 main dishes, almost very well known in the Lebanese kitchen. It's like tabbouleh. It's made of it's almost it's a salad. It's called tabbouleh, and this is very healthy dish. We have hummus. This is chickpeas as well, and you're gonna see it later on in photo. We have fried potato. It goes on the Lenten days as well. Cauliflower as well, fried cauliflowers with it. And the main dish for that is it's called msa'a, which is made of aubergine, chickpeas. It's without any source of meat or any animal product or anything like that. It's very nice, and you can serve it with maybe rice, and you can eat it with the bread. You can see it all one after the other.
Now I'm going to prepare our very famous dish, the tabbouleh. It's a salad. It's a Lebanese salad. The tabbouleh is made out of parsley and onion and tomato, chopped very small pieces. like that. Now I'm chopping the parsley in a very small pieces. And then I will add the lemon juice, the crushed wheat. I will add a little bit of salt and olive oil. And then I mix them all together. And then our famous tabbouleh is ready. This is the chickpeas to make hummus. Now I'm preparing the hummus butahine. I boiled already the chickpeas. I put two tahina. We have here a jar of tahina. We buy it from the Arabic shop. And then I put half of a lemon and some salt and some garlic. And now I want to mash them all together. Now I'm going to prepare the falafel dish. This falafel box is already, I bought it from a Lebanese shop in London. I just add a little bit of water for it and then I will start frying now. It's made out of chickpeas.
I'm going to do a falafel sandwich and I'm going to do it the Lebanese way. So I have tartar sauce here. And I'm going to put 3 teaspoons and spread it out. Get it in half and put it here. Now I'm going to add my tomatoes and lettuce. And I just made it with lettuce, falafel, tomatoes and lettuce and tartar sauce and with the Arabic bread. Now I'm going to wrap it up like this. Then I'm going to fold it over like this. And just remember that everywhere you go, you will find falafel in every Lebanese restaurant. Hi, my name is Zahi and I originally come from Lebanon, but I am born in England. My parents both come from Lebanon. There's a lot of things that we do in England, and we always go on holidays in Lebanon, and it's really nice there. It's very hot, and all my cousins live there. My relatives, my aunties, my grandmas, they're all there, and I miss them very much because I didn't get to see them during this pandemic. There's lots of nice things about England, but in Lebanon, there's lots of, well, it's not in the best condition right now. There's lots of like the pandemic. There's fighting. But it's not the worst. Well, I hope that I can go to Lebanon this year or next year.
Now I'm frying the cauliflower and the potato. This مسقعة is the chickpeas, tomato, chopped tomato, and then tomato puree, and then I will continue chopping the aubergine. Now I'm doing مسقعة باذنجان. It's aubergine. First I will fry some onion and garlic with a little bit of oil. I put them to fry.
Hi, my name is Zina Petar, and these are the stuff I like. I like going to Lebanon, and I like eating Lebanon food.
This is a message for our Archbishop Darwish. I really want to thank him for whatever he's doing over there. I know he's helping lots of refugee people in Zahle. He's his main resident. And it's very important, for St. John's the Merciful Table. How important is that, to get all the people together and serve them, at least one meal a day. This is very important, and we really thank him for that.
أنا قاعدة منطقة فقيرة يعني الفقراء اللي بيقعدوا فيها هاي المنطقة ووضعنا سيء خصوصاً بهالوقت هيدا اللي مرقين فيه من بعد الانفجار. وأنا عايشة مع 3 أطفال أولاد ابني عايشين لوحدنا هون بالبيت، وأنا ولي أمرهم وأنا اللي عم بربيهم، وأنا ما عندي معين حدا يساعدني غير الله واللي بعتوا لي إياهم. استلمت منها اليوم مؤسسة مساعدة الكنيسة المحتاجة، كتير انبسطت فيها لأنه رح أقدر آكل فيها شهر. نحن إلنا ظهر مهمة أكتر من الكرتونة اللي أخذناها واستلمناها، إنه حدا يفكر فينا. والحمد لله على كل شيء، برغم كل شيء صعوبة عم نمرقها الله معنا وحدنا ويسوع حدنا، وما حدا رح يتركنا، لأنه الله عم بيبعث لنا عالم من بلاد برا وعم بيوصيهم فينا. وضع المسيحية إنه منيح بس منه زيادة، ويسوع معنا، ما حدا رح يقدر يشيلنا وما حدا رح يقدرنا بتمنى من العالم اللي عم تسمعني تساعدني وتساعد لبنان كله ولأولاد الطفالة كلها، وأنا بحاجة لله ولكل إنسان عم يسمعني.
Lebanon is facing a lot of problems. The economic crisis, the COVID-19, and on top of that, the Beirut blast. Many of the businesses closed and many of the people are without work. And I found out that in my parish, many of the families are in need for the food. So I decided to do something, to be this support and to bring hope for them. And I decided to teach the Arabic language to non-speakers. Very good. So with this online class, I am collecting small amount of money. I am bringing box of food to the family each month. During all this situation in the country, We need a little candle in this darkness. We are formed how to serve, how to love, how to act when there is one in need by the religious literature made by Way to Church in Need. They teach us with the book of Yucat and Ducat. This is the revolution of the young generation. Because we look at Jesus, he never let the people down. So when you look to people and see sadness in their heart, in their heart, in their eyes, try to do something. Just bring hope to them.
محافظة حمص من سوريا. أنا كنت أشتغل بسوريا بتجارة العقارات. كنا عايشين مبسوطين ومرتاحين جدا. أوضاع كانت كتير منيحة وكل شيء كان مأمن وموفر. ساعة اللي بلشت الحرب عندنا بسوريا سنة 2011 بلشت تتغير الأحوال. الوضع صار جحيم من كل شيء بدك إياه، لا مدارس، لا شغل، لا كهرباء، لا أكل. يعني بدك تجيب ربطة خبز بدك تطلع على كفك إنه تطلع تحت القنص. العالم هربت، نحن هربنا مع العالم. طلعنا مثل ما نحن بثيابنا طلعنا ولا شيء خالص. تركنا بيوتنا والحدود اللبنانية جينا على زحلونا. قعدنا بالبيت بحدود 30 شخص شهرين، ما تلاقي في ناس كانت تنام وناس تضل سهرانة، يعني ما في محل تنام. يعني غرفة 4 مثل هاي الغرفة ننام فيها 15 واحد، لا في وبالشتاء يعني حرامات ما في. قالوا لنا يومتها في مطرانية الكاثوليك، نحن كاثوليك، مطرانية الكاثوليك بتعطي مساعدات للنازحين، نزحوا. يعني لو ما مساعدة المطرانية شو كنا بنعمل بحالنا؟ نحن وقعنا بمشاكل بمليون مشكلة من أول ما جينا لهلا، وكل ما نوع مشكلة نقول يا رب. ولما الرب يكون موجود وموجود، مو إنه يكون موجود، يقين موجود. لو ما إنه موجود نحن ما كنا موجودين. نحن بنتشكره لكل إنسان عم يعمل عمل الخير وهن منهم مضطرين إنهم يعملوا شيء. وهودي الجماعة أجرا عند رب العالمين، نحن ما فينا نوفيهم الشيء اللي عم يقدموه وعم يعملوه، بس رب العالمين شايف وبيعرف كل إنسان شو اللي عم يعمله.
Alors, je suis Rachel Maïné. Je travaille comme une coordinatrice de bureau social dans l'archipelagé des Grecs catholiques. Je travaille depuis 2 ans avec les réfugiés syriens. Je travaille aussi avec les camps. Alors, nous avons commencé avec 18 familles et maintenant, le nombre a augmenté pour atteindre 800 familles dans l'archipelagé. Et dans ce camp, on travaille avec 35 tentes et à peu près de 70 familles dans ce camp. Nous avons essayé de l'aider comme d'hygiène, des kits d'alimentation, des médicaments. Nous avons donné beaucoup de gens de l'argent pour payer le logement. C'est ce qu'on a essayé de commencer à l'aider les hommes et les gens. Dans ce camp, il y a à peu près de 70 familles dans 35 tentes. De plusieurs pays en Syrie, Ils sont venus de Syrie jusqu'à ici, de Halab, de Homs, de Rabli. Il y a plusieurs gens ici, dans ce camp.
أنا بحبك كثير.
She said we love you so much. I love you so much.
احنا خرجنا شهادة فرحتنا معنا. خرجنا شهادة فرحتنا معنا. الدنيا نجاح، الدنيا فرح، العنا الفرح ويرفعنا. السعد يغني ويعلي وتكمل فرحتنا. وصوتي يغني ويعلي تكمل فرحتنا. تكمل فرحتنا. تكمل فرحتنا.
Welcome back, everyone, and to those of you who have joined us some later. We've got a few shout outs from people who I know in Scotland are watching us. Bishop John Keenan from Paisley Diocese, Joe and Helen McEachen are fantastic parish reps from St Patrick's Parish in Coatbridge, Ronnie Boyd from our advisory group, Anna Neal, Colin Skillen, Mary McCarran, Phyllis Slorach, and thank you for all the fantastic comments that have come in from Francis Donovan. And thank you.
Oh, let me finish. I'm sorry.
And thank you so much to all of those people who have sent in donations but can't be with us today.
Are you done?
Yes,
okay.
I am.
I've got some shout outs from England and Wales as well. I'd like to shout out to all the sisters at Minster Abbey who are with us this afternoon. Also to any of the Catenians from the circles we know and the circles we don't yet know. Also, we've got some Knights of St. Columba with us today. I'd like to welcome Father Peter and everyone from Bournemouth Oratory. and Father Andrew and the lovely parishioners of St. Clare's in Fulwood, along with Bishop Peter and all those from the Diocese of Wrexham who are with us today. I'd also like to send out a special shout out to all of our parish reps and all of their wonderful parishioners as parishes as well who are here with us. We've also need to shout out to everyone from St. Teresa's in Charlbury. And a special huge shout out, you won't believe this, Lorraine, this is great, to the Faith and Action groups from St. Maximilian Kolbe in Runcorn. These young people have recently cycled and jogged and walked about 200 miles to raise money for our work. Isn't that great?
Fantastic.
So, welcome to everybody from Faith and Action from St. Maximilian Kolbe in Runcorn. And now we're on to, I think, the most exciting part of our afternoon, because now we're going to be interviewing Archbishop Darwish live. He's coming in from Lebanon to speak to us. But first, we've got a brand new short video just to tell us a little bit more about the project and the difference it's making to the people who use it.
What we have accomplished has been amazing, and it's truly God's work. Because of you, more than 1,000 free hot meal are served to the needy each day at St. John the Merciful table. This table that played a major role in the lives of all the people in need from 2015 till this moment. Thank you for all the donors. Thank you, ACN. We know now that we are not alone. May His everlasting life and mercy be with you always, and may peace reign on earth and within the hearts of all.
Leaving my country was very difficult at first. We came to a place where we know nobody, have no friends. I'm here alone to take care of my parents. The situations in Lebanon are difficult on both economic and health level. If it wasn't for St. John, the Merciful table, I don't know where we would be.
Since the beginning of the Syrian crisis in 2011, thousands of Christians families have fled to Lebanon. About 1,500 Christian families have found shelter in the Bekaa Valley, where my archdiocese is. Since that time, we are involved in assisting those families. Personally, I was committed to take care of all the Christian Syrian refugees who were in need. All kind of help was provided: social, educational, food, health, with a special personalized care to each family and person. We did the same with the Lebanese in need, providing them with all their needs. Due to the economic crisis in Lebanon and the increase of the poor level, and because many of the Syrian refugees couldn't afford eating healthy or even having a daily hot meal, we opened since 2015 a free restaurant in the name of St. John the Merciful table.
Welcome back, everyone. And we would also like to welcome Archbishop Darwish, Archbishop John Darwish of Furzal, Zaghlei and Bekaa in Lebanon. Thank you for joining myself, Lorraine McMahon from our Scottish office, and Caroline Hull, who is Head of Community Outreach in England and Wales. And our audience, we think of them more as our big ACN family. So, Your Eminence, how are you today, and how are your team there in Zaghlei?
Hello. Can you say again, please?
Yep. How are you and your team there in Zagreb?
Yes, we are well, very well. Thank you very much. And I would like to salute you all. Good day to you. And thank you very much for this beautiful program. And thank you for your help to St. John the Merciful Table and to the Lebanese people and to Syrian refugees, of course.
Archbishop Darwish, can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea for the St. John the Merciful Table?
You know, since the beginning of the Syrian war in 2011, the arrival of many Syrian refugees in Zahli, the Bekaa Valley, since that time, I was committed to help the Christian Syrian refugee, and of course the Iraqi refugee also, and the Lebanese in need. We founded a social office responsible to take care of all the Christian Syrian refugees who were in need. All kinds of help was and is still being provided: social, educational, food, health, with a special personalized care to each family and person. We did the same with the needy Lebanese people, providing them with all their needs through the Catholic Charity Association in our archdiocese. Due to the economic condition in Lebanon and to the increase of the poor level, and because many of the Syrian refugees couldn't eating healthy or even having a daily hot meal, the idea of the restaurant was the best cure to this condition. So in the beginning of 2015, we inaugurated St. John the Merciful Table.
So when the centre is opened, Your Eminence, what is a typical day like?
Yes, you know, St. John the Merciful Table is open a week from Monday till Friday. The day of the table starts in the very early morning, where the chefs start to cook the meals. You show a little bit of the video. Around 9:30, the volunteers at the table start to package the food and put it in the plastic containers. Around 11, the beneficiaries of the table start to come to take away their meals.
And who's on the team? How many people do you have helping?
Yes, on the team, there is the director of St. John the Merciful Table, that is responsible to controlling and organizing the meals preparation, and also always be next to people on all levels. There are also social workers and 2 chefs and around 20 volunteers.
Wow. With the COVID-19 pandemic being part of all of our lives, what is the current situation in Lebanon now? Has the pandemic changed the way that you do things in St. John the Merciful Table?
Yes, well, the current situation in Lebanon now really is catastrophic on all levels. Financially, due to the economic crisis and the Lebanese pound collapse. Politically, due to the absence of a government, and on health level, with a dramatic increase in the daily positive cases of COVID-19, ICU beds at the hospitals are full. People are getting their treatment at their homes. which is resulting in higher percentage of death. At St. John the Merciful Table, people used to come at the table, spend some quality time with each others, and have their hot meal together. But 1 year ago, when the first cases of COVID-19 were detected in Lebanon, and when the first lockdown happened, we kept our strategy of preparing the meals for the needy people, and the people at their turn would come to the table and take away their meals, and all the safety processes are applied to keep our staff and the beneficiaries safe. Certainly, the people lost the precious time they used to sit at the table with each others, but their safety is a priority for the time being.
And you mentioned, Your Grace, in the video that the local Christian community, the Lebanese Christian community, who used to help and used to support the table, they're now using it, and they're more and more. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, before the economic crisis and the COVID-19, we're supposed to give about between 300 and 500 meals every day. But the number now of the needy people is increasing dramatically. After a very thought year, the people in Lebanon are living a difficult time on the health and the economic level. But due to the economic crisis and the inflation, which caused a scary increase in the prices, added to the unemployment rate that hit a record percentage. Now, studies shows more than 60, maybe more than that, of the Lebanese people are below the poverty line. Most of the Lebanese people are facing the hyperinflation, jobless, unable to buy their basic needs anymore. Thus, the number of the Lebanese profiting from the table is increased every day.
When I was out there, it made a massive impression on me. The restaurant was tremendous. Could you share one or two standout moments for you, maybe people that you've met or something that's happened that makes it clear to you that having the table there makes such a positive difference in people's lives?
Yes. I have many stories. Every day we have a story about the people. But recently, I have a recent story directly popped up to my mind. A few days ago, I received in my office a retired teacher. He was a math and physics teacher in high school, a different school in Zahli. He worked all his life and used to have a great level of living. He came to me to just ask for food. He couldn't handle the current situation. His money lost its value, and right now he is helpless, unable to buy his daily meal anymore. When I told him about St. John the Merciful Table, he got a mixed feeling. He was relieved that he will be able to have a meal daily, but his pride interfered. I used to be a teacher, he said to me. I never needed any more help before. I used to have a good level of reading, and I used to give help to the people in need. It is so hard for me to go to the table to take away my meal. After hearing his voice shaking, I was very impressed. And I asked one of the volunteers at the table to take a meal to this person's house every day. You know, Lebanese people are not only suffering because of this bad economic situation. They are suffering because they were betrayed by others, and their dignity was stolen along with their money. Another story. This is a story of a 50-year-old man, a husband and father of 6 children. He used to be an employee and lost his job due to the economic crisis. He's been unemployed for more than a year. He comes daily to the table to take 8 meals to his family. But he always expresses his gratitude along with their fear. He's merely afraid that St. John the Merciful Table stop making meals for the needy people. Those are exactly his words. He said to me, without St. John the Merciful Table, I won't be able to feed my children. I always pray that you can continue in your mission.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Your Grace. And they're lucky to have you. All those people are lucky to have you to take care of them. And we're doing everything we can here. Well, we are doing everything we can at the ACN UK family to help your family. We're going to play some more clips from the videos that you wonderfully, kindly made for us. But would you like to say anything to all of us here in the UK before you go?
I just want to thank you for this interview. Thank you for the bottom of my heart for helping our people. No words enough to describe how grateful we are to all ACN members and benefactors, to all your people. Thank you very much. You have always been there for your fellow Christians, assuring them that they would not be abandoned. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Archbishop Darwish. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all of the support that you've given us in putting this together. And please thank Sabine for us as well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So it's time now to talk about how we can help. ACN provides all of the funding for all of the food at St. John the Merciful Table. On average, that's 1,600 meals every single day of the year. Last year, that amounted to 600,000 meals, and this year we're in course for even more, and we're going to exceed that this year. Each meal costs around £1 each. So for £5, you could feed a family of 5 for one day. £35 would feed that same family for 1 week, and £150 would feed that family for 1 month.
There may even be some of you out there who would consider supporting the table, running the table for a whole day for £1,600, or even for a week, which is about £11,000, or even maybe for a month, which is right around £50,000. It's a wonderful thing to do, to help as much as you can. It takes a huge burden off of Archbishop Darwish and his team if we can fix it so that they're not worried about how they're going to pay for the next tranche of meals they have to put together. We're all working together on this, so please be as generous as you can, and anything that you can give will make a difference. And please remember that giving is a wonderful thing. So in giving to this table, or in doing anything to help someone else, you're not just helping them, but it helps you too, because we all feel good when we give and when we help someone else. So please be generous, and remember that giving makes them feel better and it makes us feel good too.
So if you would like to donate now, you could do this in several different ways. Through our website on www.acnuk.org/donate. If you're in Scotland, you can call 01698 337 471 or 01698 337 472. If you're in England and Wales, 01524 62023 or 01524 388 379. You can also pay us by cheque. Please do put a note on to say that it is for the virtual lunch if you're sending us in a cheque. Please do let us know if you can gift aid and you're a new benefactor.
And now it's time for your main course. You're probably starving. We're starving. I'm hungry after that cookery video. So we have a selection of music videos which various people have very kindly created for us just for this event. All but one. There's one that's a little bit older, which is a video from our favorite band Uberfuse, and it's about the situation in Iraq, but it's such a good video and it was so relevant that we've asked and they've allowed us to put it in, and it had its UK premiere at an ACN event as well. So you've got half an hour for your main course. Enjoy, and we'll see you back in a little while. Bye.
of heaven and earth, the Almighty Maker of things that are visible, the Almighty Maker of things unseen. We believe in one Jesus Christ, Lord, Son of God, the only Son of God, of the Father begotten, God from God, of the Father begotten, light from light. That's the good news of the story, and his kingdom will have no end. He will come again in glory. That's the good news of the story. He will come again in glory, judge the living and the dead. He will come again in glory. That's the good news of the story, and his kingdom will have no end. We believe in you. 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 We believe in you.
There is no humanitarian solution for this tragedy. These people can receive tents, can receive food, can receive water. But that's not what they want. What they want is to be able to go back home and to restart their lives.
بابا ديل بشمية بايشم قدش شموخ أثيم الكوثوخ هاو أجبونوخ دغديل بشمية هذا خنبرة.
In our hope, in our faith, in our love, we are one. You're never alone in this dream. We are in the middle of the deep black night as I'm searching for light. I'm hoping you'll say, as I journey through the wilderness, will the madness never ever end? I pray that they'll see in our hope, in our faith, in our love, we are one. You're never alone in this dream. We are one. Through the fire, through the desert storm, through the years, through to forevermore, through the heat of the blazing sun, we're one. Through the climb to paradise, all heaven and hell will see. In our hope,
هلا اللقمة سمقانا
in our faith,
شوقانا اختياثا
in our love,
دغدغ نشتغل نعم تحتاج
are one. You're never alone
لما بيلطم جرابة إلا خالص لما
in
بيشان
this dream. We are one.
Hope that lives on and will not ever die. As we fix our eyes on the unseen beyond the sky, we drink from the fountain, we know it won't dry. We are one. As we press on to run this race and see love's face, his tear is wiped away as we feel his embrace. We are one.
In our faith, in our love, we are one. You're never alone in this dream. We are one. In our hope, in our faith, in our
توفيق
hope,
إلى ملكوثة
in our
خيل
faith.
قوته وجبروثة دها والأبد آمين.
You call me out upon the
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your day. We have a few more shout outs to all of our friends who have joined us in Scotland, to all of our dioceses in Scotland and our bishops who are especially supportive to ACN. Archbishop Leo Cushley of St Andrews in Edinburgh, Bishop John Keenan of Paisley Diocese, Bishop Joseph Toll of Motherwell Diocese, Bishop Hugh Gilbert of Aberdeen, Bishop Brian McGee, Argyll in the Isles, Bishop William Nolan from Galloway Diocese, Bishop Stephen Robson from Dunkeld Diocese, and I would please ask you that you keep in your prayers today Archbishop Philip Tartaglia, who we lost not that long ago from the Archdiocese of Glasgow, so please keep him in your prayers. Also a shout out to our regular benefactors that we talk to in our Motherwell office. They've all become very much our friends. We know about their families, they know about ours. So thank you so much. It means such a lot to us to have you as friends to us. If you're not already part of our ACN family, please do get in touch and you will be welcomed with open arms.
And I think we can say the same thing for everybody in England and Wales also. We've got some more shout outs. I'd like to do a big shout out to the members of the Kensington Council of Churches. I've been running a series of Lenten lectures with them, and I know that some of them are here with us today, so welcome. Also the community and parishioners from Ealing Abbey, and the ACN groups from St Thomas Becket in Fulham and Our Lady of Lourdes in New Southgate, as well as the ACN London Students Group. And finally, a special shout out to our friends at Nazareth House in Lancaster, who I know will be watching us on Catch Up. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today.
And I can't go without giving a big shout out and a mention to our 5 lovely ladies who are answering our phones today. To Claire, Bridget, Fiona, Clemmy and Ruth, thank you so much for your time today. So now let's go back to our friends in Lebanon for a video.
Since we left Syria and came to Lebanon, I used to come with my parents every day to St. John's the Merciful table. We used to meet with our friend and share together a tasty meal. Now, due to the COVID-19, we only come to take away our meals.
During these 5 years, the table was a home to all the people. They become one family. They used to come not only to have their daily meal, but also to see each other, have fun, and participate in many events organized at the table. Now, more than ever, this table became a big necessity. The number of all needy people is increasing dramatically. After a very difficult year, the people in Lebanon are living in nightmare of the health and the economic level. We are now preparing each day between 1,500 and 1,700 hot meal.
Our situation is difficult. I left Syria with my family and came here because of the war. I came here to Zahle so I can work to feed my children. But sadly, the unemployment rate here is very high, and Lebanese themselves are suffering from the bad economical situation. Feeding my children was an impossible task. I can't imagine what would have happened without the meals we get every day from St. John Merciful table.
Welcome back. We're nearing the end of this afternoon's event, but we do have a couple more things we want to share with you. The first, as she mentioned before, is that Lorraine, you need to know that Lorraine has actually been to the St. John the Merciful table. So I am now going to transform into Caroline Cut and Thrust, investigative journalist, and I'm going to interview Lorraine to find out a bit more. Are you ready? Okay. Can we just say it now? Now, back to the studio. We've been practicing that all afternoon. So, first of all, Lorraine, can you tell us when you were there and what you thought of Lebanon generally?
I've been in Lebanon twice. The first time was in 2016 when I went with an international group from ACN. And at that point we visited St. John the Merciful table. It was an amazing experience, something I'll never forget.
What was the atmosphere like when you were there?
In Scotland we would say it was buzzing. There was a fantastic atmosphere, really warm, because we very quickly found out that St. John the Merciful table wasn't only a place for eating, it was a place for socialising. These people were living several families to one house in very small spaces, so they couldn't have their friends and family around to where they were staying. So this was their main place every day that they could come and socialise and eat, and it almost was like the feeling of being at a massive family christening or a family get together.
I know there's a lot else going on at the table and a lot of pastoral support and a lot of fellowship, but let's cut to the chase. Did you get to eat? What did you have? And was it delicious?
I did get to eat, and I had a chicken curry, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was so tasty, and at that point in time I hadn't had in since my breakfast, so it was greatly appreciated.
Fantastic. Sort of like us this afternoon.
Yeah.
Would you like to share a quick story about maybe someone you met while you were there, something that really affected you? Lorraine and I have been on trips before, and we spend the day smiling and the evening crying. So what moved you while you were there?
Gosh, I met so many absolutely fantastic people, and they humble you so much. I heard so many different horror stories from different people of what had happened to them in Syria. But at the end of it all, they would say how fortunate they were. And you're kind of waiting for the bottom line, so what happened? And they would say, because I have Jesus in my life, I am a Christian, and I have somewhere to turn. It floors you to hear the disastrous time that they've had, and yet they feel so fortunate. There was one family in particular that I met in St. John the Merciful table, and we were going around and we were interviewing people, we were taking photos, and this gentleman put his hand up and said, no, I can't have my photo taken. And that was the end of it. But the following day, I went around the house. I went around different Christian homes where we interviewed people and asked them about their experiences with ISIS. And he then told me his story as to why he couldn't have his photo taken. So him and his wife and their family owned a business. ISIS basically visited one day and said that they have to convert or they lose their business. So thinking of their children, they did convert. His wife took the veil and they attended the different religious ceremonies. But he said, all the time inside me, I'm a Christian. I am with Jesus and my faith is Christian. He said so we would go along and we would basically fake it. But he had obviously told someone else about this, and someone told ISIS that both him and his family were fakes. So ISIS turned up at their business, and a Muslim neighbour had actually tipped them off that they were on their way, and they fled. And that neighbour kept them overnight to keep them in safety, and the next day then took them away in their car so that they could flee. To that date, they had been continuously running from ISIS. They had received text messages saying, "I know where you are, we are coming to get you." So they had to keep their face out of it. They couldn't be seen, they couldn't be known. They had given us different names and things like that. So that's the sort of thing that some of the people are facing. And of course they got to Syria, or they got to Lebanon, they got to Zaghli, and they get back to their Christian religion again.
Goodness. Do you have a quick message you'd like to share with them?
Yeah. Sorry.
I know, I'm sorry I can't give you a hug or hold your hand or anything.
Thank you for inspiring me while I was there. Stay strong, because we are thinking about you after the explosion and all of the experiences that you've had there. Please stay true to your faith, and please pray for us back here in the UK. We'll keep you in our prayers, and please know that you are never alone.
We have one more video. Our wonderful National Director, Neville Kyrke-Smith, has also visited Lebanon and St. John the Merciful Table many times. So Catherine, our events manager, has put together some images, and Neville's provided a narration. So we're going to go off for just a couple of minutes. We're going to get Lorraine cleaned up, and you enjoy this video. We'll see you in a minute.
When I visited St. John the Merciful Table in Zaghli, in Lebanon, the first thing that struck me was the joy of those who were there. A violinist came in to serenade all the families, the refugees and the poor who were there enjoying their lunch, but even more so enjoying a time of fellowship, of conversation, of exchanging experiences. I remember someone said to me, "A restaurant for love, that is what this place is. Somewhere to meet, somewhere to share what we have in common, and to hear and heal our memories as we come together for lunch." Someone else I met was Lena, whose husband was a jeweler and dealt in gold back in Raqqa in Syria, but who was robbed of everything and now had nothing. She just told me to come here and be with others is so important. It helps after all we have lost and been through. The stories exchanged were those of families who had fled terror, families who had heard the shouts, "Where are you Christians?" as they locked their door and hid, and they fled before their houses were destroyed or their children taken. And with the help of Aid to the Church in Need, St. John the Merciful Table has been reaching out to those in need. I had, when I was at St. John the Merciful Table, a simple but tasty lunch of hummus, chicken, rice with nuts and a drink. It was delicious. I thought the chef must be somebody quite remarkable. Indeed, he is, Danny and his wife. Mianach helps, and they're so grateful for all that ACN does. Danny used to be a top-class chef back in Syria, and now he's helping prepare food for more than 1,000 people. When I asked Archbishop Darwish, the wonderful Melkite Archbishop of Zale, what it meant to his people. He said, "I can only thank you on behalf of the Syrian and Iraqi refugees. Only thank aid to the church in need for all that you've done here on the ground." In particular, he said, "I thank you on behalf of all at the St. John the Merciful table, where Syrian and Iraqi refugees come, as well as poor Lebanese, to have a good meal and to be with each other." I visited now about 4 or 5 times, I think, to St. John the Merciful table in Zale, always amazed by the joy, the celebration of life of those who have suffered so much. And there's one person I've met with her husband on quite a few occasions, Mutar. And I said to her, "What keeps you going?" They'd lost their home in Zabadani near Homs. Everything was destroyed. They were living in a wonderful house, but when I last met them, they were living 5 of them in a tiny apartment, including 2 young children, in one room, sleeping on the hard sofas with a tiny kitchen and shower room. And Muntar said to me, "We have the faith of Jesus and Mary. We are still alive." Thank you for holding hands virtually with those in need in the St. John the Merciful table, for all those who have suffered and are suffering for their faith today. They are united with us in prayer and hope and love this Lent and always. May God bless you in all that you do for them.
Welcome back. Now we really are at the end. Thank you so much for doing that, Neville and Catherine. I like that little video there. Lovely. Now, just before we finish up, I just want to remind you one more time, if you do feel moved to give, you can do it over the phone from England and Wales on 01524 388739 or 01524 62023. If you're in Scotland, it's 01698 337 471 or 01698 337 472. You can also donate online at www.acnuk.org/donate. And you can also, if you prefer, send a cheque. If you can gift aid, let us know. The cheques go to either to our Scottish office or to our head office in Sutton in Surrey. And please do, we're not kidding, please do put a note in to let us know how you're doing, and also to mention that it's a donation for St. John the Merciful table. So thank you all very, very much. And I'm going to pass you over to Lorraine for a second.
Please remember that you can watch this video over and over and over again if you like, but please do share it with all your friends and family. And please, if you've got any questions, give us a call. We'll answer what we can. We're coming to the end of our lunch now, and we would like to especially thank Archbishop Darwish in Zagreb. He's been so supportive and so responsive to everything that we've needed to run this event today. Thank you very much to him and to his team, and especially to Sabine.
And we've got a little short video now of Archbishop Darwish, who wants to thank all of you.
Finally, our humanitarian mission at St. John the Merciful table would not have been possible without the ACN and its benefactors. ACN stood by our side from day one, and for that we are grateful. Thank you. God bless you all.
So this really is the end. Before we go, Lorraine and I would like to thank very much Archbishop Darwish, as she mentioned before, but also we'd really like to thank Catherine Crowson, our events manager, and the fantastic tech team here today, because we couldn't have done it without them. And we'd like to thank everybody who created video content for us. So much hard work and talent, and everybody came forward and was delighted to help, and we're so grateful. And then finally, one more mention of the 5 people who've given up their Sunday afternoon to help take donations, who are answering the phone. So thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it.
And thanks very much to you for joining us, our ACN family. Today, we really have done something wonderful for St. John the Merciful table. I hope you think so. So goodbye from Caroline and I.
And we've got a bit of music to get you started on your pudding. Thanks so much, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Time